Howdy, my name is Miles, and this is my 2011 Ford Transit Connect, which I purchased a few months ago for the sole purpose of traveling the country and telling a few interesting video stories. Those stories are currently linked down below in the description. If you would like to, please follow the link, like, comment, share, and subscribe. You'd really be helping me out. Not to mention they're good stories. In today's video, we're going to talk about where you can park your van for free. Yes, I said that right. Free. Where can you park your van for absolutely $0 or euros or Canadian dollars for that matter? Let's get into it. But before we do me a kind solid, smash that like button down below. You'd really be helping me out. Not to mention, you can also subscribe. I'm just throwing it out there. And right next to the subscribe button is also the notifications bell to be notified every single time I upload new content. And there's, as you might imagine, more new content coming. This is a 7-part answer. Saddle up, strap in, and settle in for a nice bit of information about where you may park your van for free. Ding! And now to the list of where you can park your van for free. First, we'll go over that list, and then we'll drill down into it in detail. Number 1 on this list, forestry service roads. With that one. Number 2, rest areas. There's a caveat to this one, which we'll get into. Number 3, BLM land and or Crown land if you're Canadian. Number 4, Flying J's and or Love's travel stops. Number 5, Home Depot, casinos, hotel parking lots, and hospitals. That one's a little we'll get into it. Number 6 is Cracker Barrel. All right, let's get into it. Number 1, forestry service roads. Now, to be fair, I only parked on a forestry service road just once. I parked about a half a mile in. Nobody bothered me. The thing that you're looking for is a no parking sign or no overnight parking sign. If one doesn't exist, have at it, baby. Nobody's going to come up there and nobody cares. However, you do probably want to check the local ordinances or local laws to see whether or not it's okay. If nobody cares, then have at it, baby. But be prepared for this, which is what you're trying to avoid, the dreaded knock at 3 a.m. in the morning. If that happens, then follow the instructions of the forestry service personnel. All right, number 2 on this list, rest areas. To be clear, not all rest areas allow you to park overnight. There are certain states where there's actually laws to prevent you from doing exactly that. The 3 states where I've run into that problem is 1 is California, 2 is Texas, and 3 is Florida. However, California has 5 spots where you can actually park overnight, and California doesn't care. Mostly because that's federal land. One of them is outside of San Francisco, just across the Golden Gate Bridge, on the north side of the Golden Gate Bridge. That Point Vista right there allows overnight parking. As a matter of fact, I spent 2 years at that parking lot, going back every single night for 2 solid years. You can find that listed in my story of how I learned Argentine tango and I basically lived out of my car for 2 years. That's a great story, by the way. Just throwing it out there. Rest areas, California, Florida, Texas, not so much of that idea. Do check the local ordinances and local laws. And we will talk about cities where this is not possible a little bit later on in the episode, so stick around for that one. That's a pro tip. Number 3 is BLM land and or Canadian Crown land. I'm not Canadian, so if you are Canadian, apply local municipalities and laws and all that happy noise. However, Canadian land and BLM land sound basically the same thing. All right, there are 3 basic rules to BLM land. 1 is no stays longer than 14 days. 2 is LNT or leave no trace. And 3, don't dump anything. I'm looking at you right there. So the question that I've gotten is, where can you find BLM land, especially in the United States? Well, anything west of the Mississippi, there's tons of it all over the place. Secondarily, if it's east of the Mississippi, good luck finding that. Not going to happen. I know, I looked. There isn't any. At least to my knowledge. If there is, please put it down below in the comments, and I will try to make a secondary video. Number 4, Love's travel stops and Flying J's travel stops. I'll be honest with you. I've had mixed results with this one. But your mileage may vary, no pun intended. My experience has been that it's a location by location experience. Love's travel stops they tend to be a bit more persnickety about it. Flying J's is fine with it, but Love's Travel Stops, not so much. Basically, what you're looking for is the sign that says no parking, and they'll have it in every parking spot. So it's not like you can park here or not park there. No, they're really clear about it, and yes, they do enforce it. The rule of thumb that I've discovered with both of these is if you're a commercial vehicle or you look like you're a commercial vehicle, hence the stealthy part, is if you look like you're a commercial vehicle, then you can spend all night there and they don't care. If not, if you look like a personal vehicle, then it's 2 hours and you got to vamoose. It's that simple because you're going to hear this at 1 o'clock in the morning. Not so much with that idea. So follow the local ordinances, or here's a really good rule of thumb, call ahead. And now for a tiny little break. Hey, do me a kind courtesy, smash that like button down below. You find this stuff interesting, you find it useful, you find it helpful, smash that like button. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Number 5, Home Depot parking lots, casino parking lots, hotel parking lots, and if you're really stuck, pro tip, hospital parking lots. In all of these cases, stealth is the order of business. So in other words, you don't roll up and put up the awning and the lawn chairs and the Barbie and, party like it's 1999. Not. Stealth and LNT, baby, leave no trace. However, Home Depot, casino parking lots, and hotel parking lots, it really is, you do want to patronize the business. I'm just throwing it out there. If you have a little bit of money, patronize the business. Number 6, Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel basically wants you to park in their parking lots. Ding! They actually have spaces delegated specifically for that option. And so all you do is you pull into one of those spaces and you are good to go. However, it's good practice to get into the habit of calling ahead and asking them if you can park in their parking lot. Again, get into the habit. The other thing that you want to get into the habit of is if you use their parking spot, then patronize the business either that night or the next morning. Buy some French fries, buy a hamburger. Doesn't matter, just patronize the business. They're specifically set up to do exactly that. So, again, call ahead and then patronize the business. Here's one pro tip, that if all their RV spaces are taken up, like in the city of Flagstaff, which I'll get into in just a little bit, park just behind the RV spaces because those RV spaces get taken up very quickly. So you want to get there early and then park in either the RV space or just behind their RV spaces, or go ask their manager and tell them basically that all their RV spaces are taken up. Where else can I park? Is it okay if I park here, here, or here? And they'll direct you where they want you to, and then go follow those instructions. Number 7. Before we get to number 7, do me a kind solid, smash that like button down below. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Right next to that is the subscribe button and the notifications bell. Please click both to subscribe and get notified every single time I upload new content. Which reminds me, this is also user-supported content, which is my delicate way of saying I need some cash because YouTube is not paying me a rat's dime for this stuff. At the time of this recording, I need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in order to monetize the channel, and I have neither of those things, so I need a little bit of help. Find the Patreon link down below and click that and subscribe and donate whatever you can, because that money goes directly into my gas tank, a little bit into my gullet, and to help me pay for the insurance and my cell phone bill so that I can continue uploading these videos and traveling the country and telling a few interesting stories and showing you places that you haven't seen before. And if you have, smile, nod, and wave. All right, let's get into it. Number 7, Walmart. Oi! Walmart. Let's get into the myth. The myth is that right now, it didn't used to be this way. The myth is that all Walmarts allow overnight parking. The reality is that they don't. There are some that do and there are some that don't. So you're going to ask, Miles, how do I know which one does? Answer? There are 3 answers to this question. One is call ahead, and you knew I was going to say that. Call ahead and ask, hi, I'm such and such. Do you allow overnight parking? Really simple. The other 2 ways are 2 applications. One is, they're both for Android and iOS. One is allstays.com and the other is iOverlander. Now, this is not an ad for Allstays, but I gotta tell you, for $3, trust me, you want this application. So Allstays has this application for just Walmarts and only Walmarts. So for $3, you get to see whether or not that Walmart actually allows overnight parking. Way cool. iOverlander.com, not so much with that. The problem with iOverlander.com is that sometimes it's listed and sometimes it isn't. If it is, great. If it isn't, you're kind of sort of shit out of luck at that point. Ooh, I swore. So basically, you want to check allstays.com and or their application to see whether or not that Walmart allows overnight parking. If they don't, then check iOverlander.com or their application to see whether or not that's true or not. Because 9 times out of 10, Allstays does actually give you extremely accurate information. 9 times out of 10. I found that one out of every 100 of their listings is a little wonky. There's no reason for you, A, to not call ahead and ask. Just throwing it out there. Let's get into some details with Walmart. One is park in the outer spaces away from the building, even though that may put you further away from their Wi-Fi. We will get into Wi-Fi in a whole different video, whole different ball of wax, because that one is a humdinger. Okay, so if you park there, then go in and buy something. It doesn't matter what the hell it is. Just go in and patronize the business. Again, call ahead, patronize the business. Last but not least, do not advertise that you are there. Stealth and LNT and no dumping is the order of business for the day. Which is to say, don't roll up and throw out the lawn chairs and the awning and act like it's a party. Yeah, not so much with that idea. LNT, stealth, trust me, you things will go a lot easier that way. And that also means no generators. So for suffering through to get to this point, here's a couple of pro tips that you might want to know about. There are certain cities that don't allow, or shall we say, there's certain cities that specifically don't allow it, but that are not van life friendly. They're just not. All right. In no particular order, 1 is Denver, 2 is Boston, 3 is New York, 4 is DC, 5 is Flagstaff, that's a humdinger. 6 is San Diego, 7 is Houston and Austin at the same time, and 8 is Los Angeles. Basically, any Eastern Seaboard city, not so much with that idea, especially in the Northeast, specifically Boston. I'm originally from Boston, or I spent a good deal of time in Boston. Trust me when I say that, A, there's no parking spots, and the same thing is true with New York. There's no place to park on the street and not get... It may happen, so not so much with that idea. So Boston, New York, DC, just don't even. Now, other people's experience may be different than mine, but I've gotten and you want no part of that one. However, in Cambridge, specifically in Boston, what I did is I had a friend give me one of their parking passes so that I could park in those spaces. However, outside of that, you're literally taking your life in your hands. Denver. Oh my God. Denver has passed ordinances to prevent people from actually parking overnight in their vans and their vehicles. Yeah, and you want no part of that one. And they are definitely arresting and ticketing people, and and you want no part of that one. Flagstaff and San Diego are even worse than that. Specifically San Diego. We'll get into Flagstaff in just a little bit. San Diego is actively patrolling that, and you want no part of that one. Flagstaff, Arizona, on the other hand, is yes and no. There are spaces where you can and spaces where you can't. The really odd part is that in Flagstaff, the Walmart does not allow overnight parking. The Cracker Barrel, which is right next to it, does. And there's usually that parking lot is packed to the gills with RVers. So again, call ahead and patronize the business. Let's see, Houston and Austin. Again, city ordinances, they get really persnickety. And remember that Texas, Houston, Austin, doesn't allow overnight parking. Last but not least is Los Angeles. Los Angeles is 6 of one, half dozen of the other. 2 more pro tips. One is, for getting this far in the video, is that some Targets, JCPenney's, and basically mall parking lots allow you to park overnight. And again, stealth, but because you can't necessarily, there is no place to call, especially if it's a mall, but Targets and JCPenney's, call ahead and patronize the business and follow the instructions. One more, in case you were unclear about this, is that Sam's Club, which is a subsidiary of Walmart's, allows overnight parking. And again, call ahead, and patronize the business. Actually, you can't patronize Sam's Club because you have to have a Sam's Club card. But do call ahead and ask. All right, that is enough yapping from me today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time, your patience, and your patronage. If you have clicked that like button down below, not to mention Patreon link down below, please go do. That would help me out immensely. And making more videos just like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere along that road over there. Bye!